much consideration, I decided to release the text messages that I received. So next psycho who wants to reach out to me accusing me of something I did not do, this could be you. Also, I noticed across the board with social media, like maybe just like the media in general, that being a 304 or any type of variation of a 304, for example, being a sugar baby, is very much glorified. And I'm not trying to tell people what they should or shouldn't do. But after joining this website, which I realized was like a sugar baby, like kind of like a 304 type of situation, I didn't really know what to expect because I got like mixed things, like I've heard mixed things about it, so I didn't know what to expect, so I just went into it with no expectations. And I have just kind of been observant on there, not really an active participant, as I said. But I noticed that this lifestyle, the sugar baby lifestyle, is very glorified, and I'm not telling people they shouldn't do it, but I do think that what's not highlighted is how dangerous they can be, this lifestyle can be. Because men who partake in regular schmex work, schmex workers who are regular clients of schmex workers, or who are funding sugar babies and all of that stuff, like that, like who are like that deep into the rabbit hole of, like, because usually they're addicted to corn, there's like a schmex addiction there. If you're partaking in these types of services, they're like, you're addicted to corn, like all the things. So these men have screws loose, and a lot of the time, not on this website. On this website, these men like to pose as being rich, but they're really upper middle class at most, which makes it even worse because if you are upper middle class, that means you don't have as much disposable income. Like, you do have some, but you should have things that are more of a priority to spend your money on because you don't have as much of it than a sugar baby or a 304. So that makes it even worse. That means you're super duper duper down that rabbit hole, and you have plenty of screw loose. So that's my take on it. Like, and you gotta watch out on these sugar baby websites if you're actually doing it. A lot of these men like to pose like they have money, but they don't. You know what I mean? So you have to like really screen for the men who have money. You have to screen for it, because you're gonna be essentially, like, these men are gonna try to get stuff for free, partially because they can. I mean, the rich men will do that too, but especially the ones who don't have it. Because they're just addicted and they're only thinking about themselves, and you're gonna get scammed. And you're going to need therapy for that, because, like, that type of stuff is deep, So anyways, yeah, these men are crazy. If you do that, and this is an example, I'm going to show you an example. Protect yourself. Protect yourself. Yeah, protect yourself. Just be aware of it, yeah, so do with this information as you will. I had a fake number. I used a Google Voice, and I had a fake name. I didn't do a good enough job because I got a little bit lazy with it, and I wasn't meeting any of these men anyway, and I ended up leaking my own personal information. But yeah, you gotta be careful. So this is what to expect. A lot of these men are crazy, and I've actually had many interactions like this. This is my first one. This is my first one that, said certain things to me. So let's get into it. So I blurred out part of his number, because it's like, if you're going to expose me, why shouldn't I be able to expose you? I was even debating on whether I should blot out the first 3 digits, but anyone who's curious for any reason, if you DM me, I'll tell you the full thing. So let's go. He says, "Hey, Sam, could I sell you a few hundred for the new year?" And that's my fake name on that account. I don't care if anyone finds my profile. I'm not really using it like that. I'm not like that. So I don't really care. And I just own up to my stuff. So whatever. I do it for safety reasons against these psychos and against the stalkers who like to get on here. But anyways, I say anything. They find everything. But anyways, say, "Sure, thank you, appreciate the offer." He hearts it. How much would help? I say, what's a good number to you? Because again, I was wary. I was like, I don't even know who this is. And I already kind of knew this could be a trap. And it's like, you got to be careful. So like, if I said like $500, whatever, that would make it look more like I was initiating. So I wanted to be very, very careful about that, because this whole thing is if they're setting you up in a trap, they want to make it look like you're initiating. Oh, look how much money she's asking for, even though 500, like, whatever. Anyways, so what's a good number to you? 300. He suggested 300. I said, that's nice. Thank you. What's your Zelle? He says. And I skipped past my Zelle. And because I didn't know how to use Zelle, like I don't really use Zelle like that. I said, here you go. It has my actual info on there. Like I use fake stuff for that website. Is there a way to make a username? Because I sent him the barcode and then I waited a little bit and then I wrote, this was a prank. That was all I wrote. He said, your information was sent to blank, the dating website, Reddit. You keep playing effing stupid games. Enjoy the stupid prizes you win. Good luck being a broke cunt. Gay. You're gay. The only men who come at women like that, homosexual. You're a homosexual. I wrote, okay. He's like, they're going to send it to your family and job. Good luck. Well, I should update my LinkedIn. You are right, sir. I should update my LinkedIn, because if I were an employer, I would be impressed by a girl who is able to scam men by hardly even interacting with them. And then I kind of made the mistake of going back and forth with him because, a little bit. I did that a little bit because people like this, they are energy vampires. They love that crap. And, he's crazy. He clearly already has, like, he didn't even ask me, he wasn't open-minded to ask me, like, questions or anything like that. Clearly, he decided what he wanted to think of me, and that's just what he's going to do. Especially men, they have very fixed personalities. They decide something, whatever, not much you can do. And I don't even know this lovely gentleman who I hope, to the goodness of my heart or whatever, I hope that he comes to term with his sexuality one day. Let's continue. He says, good luck. And then I wrote 300 isn't that much. I didn't even ask. I've also been direct and straightforward in all of my interactions. I don't know, dude. And those are like some typos I made. And I wrote, I was offered. And he says, you'll have to explain that to your parents. Always knew you were blank trash. Because I blocked out where I'm from. As I said, I have stalkers. I just keep asking what I did. I'm like, what exactly did I do? I'm genuinely confused. I was like, what did I do? Because I get entertained by rumors. Like, if there's a rumor about me, like, I want to know. Like, that is so entertaining. And he goes, go beg for money at the train station. And then he sends me a picture of my profile on the website. Like, I didn't know you found me there. Like, I don't know what my profile looks like. And I don't even care if anyone finds me. But, I just blotted out for whatever. Then he writes, you're disgusting. And then I write, if I were in a good financial position, I wouldn't be on that website. You think the girls on there have it? As I said in the previous video, hookering, 304ing, sugar baby, last resort for most people. It's a treat for you, not for them. For them, they just really, really need the money. That's where they're coming from when they're doing these exchanges with you as a man's. So keep that in mind. That's not, whatever. And I said, you think the girls on there have it? He said, and then I kept saying, what? And I kept being like, okay, what I do? Didn't even ask you for money. He said, you're a waste of life. Jump in front of the blank train, named the train station in my town. So just so he can stick it to me that he knows where I live. And he said, you're such a waste of life. Jump in front of the blank train tracks do the world a favor. I said, you didn't answer my question. He said, you do realize you have to pay to be on the website? I was like, yeah. He said, so then when they interact with trash like you, it's a waste of money. No one really paid me. No one paid me. And it's a waste of money and you're a waste of life. Okay. I never scammed anyone. You effing tranny lookalike. Once again, read that off of my profile. You're not insulting me. I own up to that. I just said, what did I do? Okay, and then he didn't respond. Okay, case closed. You can't even tell me. Never even met you. Anyways, have a nice day. Boop. That's the end. So yeah. Anyone who wants to know this man's number, hit me up. I don't know. He wants to expose me, I can expose him. So, bye.